Sales 101. Give your head to yourself.
What Roshan and I wanted to do was just put out a quick video about active listening. We talked about it in a previous video. We thought that this is something that deserves a little more airtime, so Roshan's gonna talk to you a little bit about what actively listening means, especially in regard to his particular field.
Yeah, so I think one thing to keep in mind is for actively listening is we often mistake listening for actively listening. Listening means you're just listening to the person. Doesn't mean that you're actually waiting to give them your spiel on the direct points as to what correlate to what the other person said. So for example is, I'm talking to a doctor, and the doctor's told me, say he's told me 3 points. However, at the first point that he told me, I've already found a solution to what I wanted to give back to him. And so the last 2 points of what he said to me, I know he said 3 points, but the last 2 points, I've got no idea what that guy said because I wasn't actively listening. I was waiting for that guy to stop talking so that I could give him the spiel on what I wanted to say about the first point. Now, for the guy speaking, it's actually not often said that the last thing that someone says is usually the most important point because it's also the last thing that they remember as well. So it was actually more important for me to listen to all 3 points and don't jump the gun, and then think in my head out of that whole bucket load worth of stuff that I can say in order as to what's important. So what I would say to those 3 points is, so doctor, just to clarify, you said this, this, and this, and I want to answer those in a structured sentence with targeting all 3 things that you said. So for the first thing that you said, this is what I want to say. Let's build up a conversation around this. And the other thing that you're doing as well by noticing that you said 3 things is that you're giving yourself more time. You went from going to that place with a 2-minute call to now coming out after like an hour call because you've opened up conversations, and the guy is actually thinking that this guy actually really cares about what I have to say, and that's also building up trust too. Yeah. So I think it's actually pretty similar to yours.
Yeah, that's it. So this is what happens. Sometimes you'll find you'll speak to people and they'll put walls up and they won't want to communicate with you, but other times if you actively listen, you'll find that those walls come down and that you can have a much more realistic conversation. Now, what Roshan has said is vitally important. If you actively listen to someone, you'll know that you're actively listening because you're not just jumping straight into your sentence once they finish speaking.
Yeah.
There's like a kind of pause, and that pause is because you and the other person as well are both really thinking about what's just been said. So something that I personally do is I might have like a Word document open or a pen and a pad, and I'll make little dot points about the things that people actually say to me while I'm speaking to them on the phone, so that I can talk to each one of those points and they feel as if, 1, that I've listened, and 2, that I've answered all their questions. And by doing that, you're continuing to add value and show that you're a valuable person, that you should be on their team depending on what field you're in. So for example, if you're a financial advisor or a broker and your goal is to be part of their investment team, then that's one of the best ways that you can get in. So yeah, my tip in regard to that is take notes, actively listen, pause, make sure that people finish their sentences, don't cut anyone off over the phone, that's rude. And you'll get a lot more closed sales by approaching it that way than if you just approach it with yourself doing all the talking.
And that part about writing stuff is really important. So if Tim is speaking to a client and he's written down 3 things, however the other guy needs to go because he got a phone call and he actually urgently needs to go, what Tim can then say is, listen, we've gone through 2 of the points today. You'll notice that I wrote 1 more point, and it's actually really important to me that I answer all your questions. So what's the next best time for us to meet up? He's then just opened up another conversation with the guy he's speaking to, the client, and the guy is actually thinking that this guy actually really cares about me, which is really good for follow-up too.
The more opportunities that you get to speak to someone, in my industry, and this is the same with heaps of sales industries, you got to look for reasons to talk to someone. So if a conversation runs short or whatever, and you've got your points made, you've got your notes taken, that's an email that you can send. That's a follow-up email. It's a secondary call. It's an appointment. It's it could be any million things. And
it's
these.
A coffee date.
That's a coffee date. And all of these
It's an
things,
ice
you could get it. Forget. Don't say, oh, let's have.
You
let's
get a
go-
morning donut.
You could get a donut if you want, but basically, we look for reasons to get in front of people. You want to be seen. You want to be heard. You need to keep. The word that people use themselves is touching. You need to keep touching your clients, but that sounds weird.
No, that's weird, dude.
You
Don't touch your clients.
Don't touch your clients.
Unless it's the opposite sex. Or
Don't
the same.
don't even if it's the don't even do it then.
Don't do it.
Don't listen to Rosh and I.
Just went on a date last night. That's what it was.
Don't touch your clients. Don't do anything. Just keep your hands to yourself.
Sales 101.
Sales-
Give your hands
Keep your hands to yourself.
All right, back to it.
Don't touch your clients. So that's actively listening. Actively listening is vitally important, and it will give you more reasons to speak to your customers.